Hey folks, Michael Mann from Michael Mann Security Services. Welcome to the Basics of Church Security. Today we're going to talk about the AED, or the Automated External Defibrillator. Alright, so I've got a couple of pieces of equipment here. I have an actual AED that I want to show you. And then I have a trainer here, which mimics this. They work the same way, except this is a trainer. This doesn't provide the actual defibrillation like the real unit does. And so because I don't want to tear up pads and everything else on the real unit, we've got a trainer. And then I've got some equipment that you guys need to have in the box where your AED is. And so I want to go over this, especially if you've got folks on your security team or your safety ministry that maybe you're not certified in CPR or in using the AED, but you may have to depend on them to get the AED if somebody goes into cardiac arrest. So first of all, let me explain just quickly what this is. So this is the AED, Automated External Defibrillator. If someone goes into cardiac arrest, you're going to need this to save their life. It's great to have CPR, but the purpose of CPR is to get oxygen back to the brain and try to get oxygen back flowing through the system to minimize brain damage if you are able to get the person that suffered cardiac arrest, get them back, get their heart start beating again, and get them back to life. So again, that's what the AED is for. Now again, there's a difference between a heart attack and cardiac arrest. And cardiac arrest is when the heart stops beating and the person stops breathing. You're going to need this. You need to be certified in CPR, but this is probably what's going to save your life. This is what's going to get the heart to start beating again. All right. So let's talk about, first of all, the AED. If you have an AED, and if you haven't done this as a safety ministry or team, you need to, just like a tabletop exercise, you need to walk through this process. First of all, your safety team members need to know what this is. Now, most of these are going to be on a box, and they're going to be mounted to a wall. Some of those boxes may be alarmed, so when you open it, an audible alarm goes off. If you need this, you don't need to worry about the alarm. But the process is, obviously, this is mounted somewhere. The team or the ministry needs to know what this is, because they're probably going to be the first people to go get it and respond to a medical emergency if you're doing your jobs set up the way that we suggest that you set up your concentric rings of protection. You'll be the first responders to the medical emergency. So the AED will be sitting in a box. That box may or may not be alarmed, depending on what setup you've got. In the AED box that's mounted on the wall, you need a couple things if you don't have them. Just some things to think about. Number one, if your security team members don't have this on them, and this is all this is a personal CPR barrier for the mouth of the person that has gone into cardiac arrest. That is so you don't get anything that they have, so you don't transfer their cooties to your safety team members' cooties. And so you can keep this in your pocket. It's just a throwaway barrier for rescue breaths. But again, it'd be good to have one of these barriers inside the box where you have the AED stored, and that's normally on the wall. Something else that would be nice to have with the AED is a razor. If you're not certified in CPR use AED, the reason for this is before I can put the AED or the pads on the person, the victim, if they've got a hairy chest, that hair needs to come off, so you're going to need a razor. So in the process of getting their clothing off and trying to get the pads on, you may have to shave them, so you need a razor. It's also nice to have a pair of scissors. These are like paramedic scissors. They're not expensive, or like first aid scissors. You can get them for $15 or below if you want some just to store in a box. That is going to help you cut the clothing. Before you can put the AED on, or the pads, you're going to have to cut the clothing on the victim. So a pair of scissors. And it's also going to be nice if your safety team members don't have gloves on them, but even if they do, because maybe it's not going to be a safety team member that reaches the AED first, it's good to have some gloves, so whoever has that AED or is going to use it has gloves. So again, outside of the AED in the box, it'd be nice to have gloves in the box, a pair of scissors to cut clothing, a personal CPR barrier for rescue breaths for your safety team member, or whoever's going to do that, and then of course a razor to shave that hair off the person's chest. So let's talk about the AED, how the AED works. These things are Marine Corps proof. I can say that because I'm a Marine Corps veteran, all right? Or police proof. I can say that because I'm a police veteran. Or security proof because I'm a security professional, all right? So very, very simple to use. All you have to do, once you get the equipment, you get to the patient, somebody or the victim, somebody's doing CPR, get out, and this is not the process how to do it, but you turn the AED on and it starts to tell you what to do. Okay?
Call for help.
Tells you to call for help. Listen
Follow
up.
instructions to apply pads.
Then it's going to start telling you how
Remove
to actually
clothing from patient's chest.
how to actually use the
Powering
AED.
off.
Okay? So it's going to tell you to remove the clothing. It's going to go through all the steps. Now, to get the pads, when you look at the AED, after you cut the AED on or turn the power on, in the back you're going to see that there's pads. This is where we're going to switch to the trainer to show you how to use this, because I don't want to tear the pads open on this AED. And so the pads are in the back. You'll just tear open the package and you'll follow the instructions. Okay? So let me switch to the trainer. This is actually, again, this is not a real AED. This is what we use for training classes. Also in the box, you're going to see most of the distributors of the AEDs will have a little card that will actually, so you listen and you can actually look at this if you need to for an example. All right. So again, once you open the AED up, turn it on. Again, this is a trainer. Okay. What you will notice is on these pads, and I'll cut this off, on these pads, you can look on the pads on your AED. It's going to have an adult picture and then it may have a picture of an infant, so you don't have to have infant pads. Again, this is not a class how to do this, but it shows you how to actually put the pads on an infant if you only have adult pads. Once you've got the pads out, the person stopped CPR, you've cleared them away, it's time to actually put the pads on. Let me cut this off, sorry. You'll apply the pads based on the photo, and then from there, you'll go through the process of how the AED works, and the AED is going to tell you exactly what to do. Some things as you go through CPR and AED certification training, the instructor will probably tell you go through the CPR process or whatever the AED tells you to do, obviously, until EMS or the paramedics get there, and once they get there, they will relieve you, and then you'll step back and you'll take a step back away. All right. So again, just some basic stuff you need that's with the AED that's in the box of the AED. One more time, you'll have the instructions, and all you got to do is turn the AED on. It's going to tell you exactly what to do. It's nice to get a razor, a personal CPR barrier or shield for rescue breaths, a pair of scissors to cut clothing, and a pair of gloves. Okay. Self-explanatory. You don't even have to be trained or certified to use the AED to actually use the AED, if that makes sense. Self-explanatory, very easy to use. It's what's going to save somebody's life in cardiac arrest. All right, folks, if you need your team to be trained in CPR, first aid, stop the bleeding or control the bleeding, or use of the AED, then let us know. You can contact us. You can get us on our website, michaelmannsecurityservices.com. Contact us at Scott M, SCOTTM, at michaelmannsecurityservices.com. Or you can get us on Facebook and Instagram at Safe with Mann, M-A-N-N. Folks, again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Basics of Church Security. And remember, it's about prevention, not response.